Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Heroes for the Nintendo GameCube. Last time we did Team Dark's extra missions for Hand Castle and Mystic Mansion, but now it is time for the last two stages. These two can be quite the marathons once again, but they're certainly not as bad as some of the stages we've already been through. And we begin with Egg Fleet. Now the thing about these levels, and I'm saying this with certainty this time because I've done it, it is possible to get all of the enemies in just one run through of the level. You're going to be close, but it is possible. With Egg Fleet it kind of does depend on what route you take. So for the first time ever we're actually going to be going through several of these little floating platforms, whatever these things are supposed to be. Because at least 3 of these actually have enemies on them. I can't exactly remember how many of them do. It's at least 3. So there's that one there. And we got to try and land on the rail so that we can get to the one over here. Now this one only has 2 enemies on it, sadly. So we're not going to get 3 every time. Now I want to say that enemies also appear on this one. No, they don't. Okay, I believe that's our last one. There's a cannon up there. The cannons don't count, sadly. Even though they're probably more deadly enemies than everything else we encounter in this level. So that's it, though. There's just 8 enemies there, but, you know, every enemy helps because they all count. We want to try and take out the Falcos because they still count as well. So whenever you get the opportunity, try and fire at them. It doesn't matter how many levels you have. They always take just 1 hit. But they're fast, so you do have to be very quick with them. So I'm going to try and shoot this one as well. I think that worked. I wasn't paying attention to the counter. He never appeared, so I assume he does. They are also worth points. I believe it's about 100 points for each Falco. And they do add to your bonuses as well, so if you want to try and get a higher bonus, you still want to try and hit them. Okay, I've got both of them there. And so like overall this should get me the 2,000 points even though I don't need it. Shadow? Yeah, there we go. There are enemies on these things. Only 1 here, I think there's 2 later on, and you want to take the bottom path. There's nothing up the top path, as we did see one time. I don't remember who I was playing. I think it was Team Sonic's extra mission. So this is where all the enemies are. You want to watch out for this cannon, who is completely ignoring me. Okay, there he goes. Again, watch out for the burst wave. Okay, you want to go over here, destroy the crates, or jump over them, whichever you prefer. Oh, the fireball jump, you got them. And there should be 4 robots that appear just here. Yes, there is. Let's use Team Blast on them. Now, the thing about Team Blast, of course, it does freeze the timer. But you don't want to waste it. You want to try and use it at the best moments. Of course, in Egg Fleet, most of the time it's a bad thing because frequently that's going to happen. And there's a Falco that we can't get, sadly. Unless you're super fast, maybe you can. But I don't think it's possible. I'm going to go down here because there's a power core for Omega down here. Of course, Rouge is going to aim at the robot, but still, it destroyed the robot, so no complaints. Go up here, there's a robot there, there's a robot at the end. Forget the Lightspeed Dash Trail because there are enemies down here. Thankfully most of them don't have shields, so we have that at the release. And that's what I was talking about when occasionally you take control of just the power character. It is multi-console after all. The moment you try flying though, it'll take you back to the flight character. You won't stay where the power character is, you'll stay where the flight one is. Or go back to where the flight one is. It does look really goofy when they're constantly pointing, like, they're still in their holding animations. They're still holding on to the speed character's legs. It does look funny, but it's also kind of annoying. I think I might have missed 2 enemies over there, sadly. There might have been 2 on the sides. Obviously we can't kill these Falcos, that's a bad idea. I do wonder though, is it possible to fly over to where the cannons are? Admittedly, it's the first time I'm wondering this, but is it possible? You're not going to get very far afterwards, but is it possible? Like, with a really low tornado jump, it is possible to not immediately grab a hold of the propeller. so you can then switch to the characters. It is quite difficult because most of the time Shadow or Sonic are just gonna grab a hold of the thing. Oh, I missed. We're east. I'm at least one of them. Most of the time Sonic and Shadow will just grab a hold of it when they finish the animation, because it does launch them upwards. But is it possible to actually fly over there if you are able to grab a hold of it with Rouge or Tails? I mean, I guess it's probably the easiest way to find out is actually with Team Rose, because it's very easy to grab a hold of that thing with Cream. No, I want this. I don't know if level 3 Thundershoot actually does more damage than level 2, or if it's just the ring magnet that it gets. Like, I've never really made the comparison between how it works on the big enemies and how it works on the small enemies. Right, you kind of want to know where all the enemies are going to appear around here. So for one thing, they will appear there, which you do need to be aware, which is kind of annoying if you end up taking the pole, because that will launch you right past it. Like, on one loaded in, but the other one didn't. But you can easily just jump back down. Okay, so there isn't one there because we would have seen it appear. Let's use this here. Sadly, it's not going to have much effect afterwards again. I'm dangerously close to this laser right now. Laser! Now there should be 4 enemies up here. Yep. You gotta be right next to them to get them to appear, though. Alright, there we go. Halfway through. No! I want you dead. We can kill you the old-fashioned way by jumping on you. Alright, we're halfway through the level and we have 62? Yep, 62 enemies. See how much faster this is? Well, Shadow is glitching out with every turn he's making there. Right, you actually want to stay on the bottom route. And this is really where you have to be careful. Because if you fall onto those fans and you're not in power formation, you are trapped. There is nothing you can do. That can at least happen with one team. In fact, I think it's right here. Make sure you're in power formation when you come off of this rail. Because that spring launches you completely beyond it. Okay, well, just don't fall down, basically. If you fall down, the first moment you fall, you have a little bit more momentum, so you do touch the fan. But if you don't switch formations there was a fan there, by the way. Or if you're doing it down there, there is I think a safety platform should appear if you fall down there. There is one team where it doesn't do it. I can't see if it's there or not. But should you fall down there and you don't switch to the power formation when you have the opportunity, you are stuck. I generally love Egg Fleet, but I do think that is really bad design. No, he didn't put a shield up. I know, they're a bit weird when it comes to the level 3 shields for some reason. Sometimes, the level 3 homing attack I should say, sometimes they put the shield up where you'd expect them to. Sometimes, because the level 3 homing attack has tornado properties, they act as though they've been hit by the tornado instead. The only difference being is that I was still able to hit him, which they're not normally able to do with the tornado. Right, when I go on both sides, because there are robots on both sides. I was clearly going through the cannon. Oh, this guy's got a spike shield. Despite that marker, I don't think the cannon can actually hit you. That one can. When you're closer to it, it definitely can. But thankfully, despite being the penultimate level, not many enemies around here seem to have shields. Shadow wasn't jumping for some reason there. And there's one there. Just down there, there is often like a little platform that has a little item on it. I'm not going to bother going for it because of course there's no point. There's no score for this. We're just timed. So there's no point in wasting time. Omega, what was going on with your graphics there? What's going on with the character's graphics? They seem to be flashing for some reason. I'll come down here. There's actually nothing here. Except that. The level 3 Thunder Shoot should have picked up at least most of those rings, so I don't know why it didn't. Right, are there any enemies off to the side here? No, occasionally you can also get items just off those little balconies there. With one team, I can't remember if it's Team Dark or not, but right at the beginning, on the first one, you can fall to your death. Okay, I'm not gonna, at the very least, I'm not missing out on anything. Now we can go the short way. But yeah, there's little balconies, can have items on them. See, this is why I wish that this is why Sonic Team needs to get out of their habit of constantly mapping everything to the same button. Why do we even have solo attacks? Like, what is the point? I mean, I get that it's because you technically need your teammates to do the Rocket Excel, but they both do exactly the same thing, so why even give us two different attacks? They don't count when they explode by themselves. Yeah, it's just the exact same issue that we have in so many other 3D Sonic games. Like, there's very few that don't have it. SA1, it's mapped to the same button as the somersault and the bounce. So it's a problem on the ground and in the air. In this game, same button as the roll, the solo attack, and the tornado. I mean, it's only a problem for Shadow and Sonic, but still, it's a problem. In Shadow the Hedgehog, it's the same button as the spin dash and the weapons switch. Right, let's actually land on this ship, because there are enemies here. I lost my level ups. I think this is actually one of the trickier A ranks. I think it's 13 minutes. It's either 12 or 13 minutes, and then I believe Final Fortress is 1 minute less. I think. And there's one more. Is there one more over here? Yes, there is. And there's two more over here. I'm gonna ignore the one up. I'm probably gonna regret it, even though I just died twice. You know what? I'm going to use Team Blast. Now we can get here slightly faster. Very slightly. We can grab those balloons fast. And now we do. Now we don't have to worry. No. And there you go. You really can get hit by those. Right. Let's try this again. It turns out I was right. You really can get hit by the cannons during the not obviously you can get hit by them during these sections, but in the sections where you're going through those walls there, you can also get hit by them there. This is not going well. Egg Fleet seems to be hating me so far. Why, Egg Fleet? I've done nothing but praise you. It's because I was complaining about you a moment ago, wasn't it? It's not my fault you have sections that are unfair. Nope, that's not it. Whey! I'm just going to stop using Shadow. I say that as I immediately switch back to Shadow. It's a good thing these guys never react to you. I'm not even sure what their purpose of being there is. So I don't know if they ever actually shoot at you. I've never taken this propeller and not destroyed them. At least I don't think I have. At least you get that Team Blast. That's what I get for trying to save time. How dare you use a Team Blast before grabbing the propeller? This is an A rank run. Nobody said it had to be a professional A rank run. An A rank is an A rank. Nobody said anything about it being an all A rank no death run. I mean, for most of the levels that's what you have to do, but for these levels you don't. For this and super hard mode, we're leaving in the deaths, unless I feel there's too many of them. These are just funny, so I'm just gonna leave them in. Well, okay, one of them's funny. The other two were my fault. don't normally have as much trouble in egg fleet. Right. Oh, they have shields now. Now I can't remember if there's actually if there's actually enemies here the second time. No, there isn't. I didn't think there was. Let's destroy him. Are there enemies over there? You know what? I don't care. There's enemies here. Safety glass. How come only now the egg fleet has safety glass? What exactly does Eggman plan on having any sort of success with this fleet anyway? Because it's a very small fleet. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to be that effective. I hope it's 13 minutes, not 12. Right, you. Just gotta come up here. I really did attack the wrong one. You'll do. Guys, come on, destroy him. Whoa! Ow, my shoulder, ow, my ear. I don't know why you guys are standing there. I'm perfectly fine away from the laser. I am perfectly fine. Oh yeah, by the way, we only had 30 left. Now it's 29. Well, that was not a very good run, but at least we got the A rank. Now, these are already some of my least favourite missions. I don't want to keep restarting them. Final Fortress is slightly quicker though. So hopefully we can get things done a little bit faster, assuming there's not too many deaths. Unfortunately, one problem this level does have is having enemies on both pathways that you can take. I mean, with Egg Fleet at the very least, it was generally just one pathway had enemies, one pathway didn't. This level isn't quite like that. Right, I'm actually going to try and destroy this guy this time. Unfortunately, it takes a really long time. I don't know why I'm homing attacking him. Now I'm going to spam the homing attack button. And now I'm not. This is the only problem with this guy. It's the only way you can actually get past him is you have to do this. I'm bopping on his head. Well, actually, I am actually on his shield. Still. It's like, why is the shield stronger than everything else? No, actually, I want to go down here. There are 4 enemies down here. Then I'll jump back up because there are enemies up there. Right. See, this is that's where that can actually come in handy and not kill you. But it's no different than the Rocket Excel. The only difference is that the Rocket Excel has tornado properties. That doesn't. I mean, they're still probably the best when it comes to the solo attacks. Bridget's wings are clipping through her ear, I just noticed that. I mean, SBO's is kind of useful, particularly when you need the invisibility. And then Amy's is just pathetic. Yeah, I never used the spin hammer in Sonic Adventure. I'm sure as hell not using it here. Right, one thing you got to be aware of here is that they do sometimes like to hide enemies inside the cannons. Like that. Now, we saw our counter go up there. They hide enemies inside the cannons. They don't do it very often. And they generally do it when the cannons are on the sides and there's a lot of, there's a lot of cannons like that. That's generally the only time it happens. I do like how the walls do speed. The tornado still works, but it speeds up the animation. Or it cancels the animation, so you get it done faster. So I have nothing to complain about that. Right, unfortunately Shadow's at level 2, got using Mega. I've got to watch out for the cannons that are not firing. Where'd the cannons go? Huh. Bit weird. Right, E2000Rs. 10,000 points means nothing here, sadly. Actually, this was the mission that allowed me to find out you can actually get past 100,000. Like, this is the first mission I was ever able to do that in, and then I discovered, you can do this for the level. Surely that's going to be worth the A rank, and of course, it's like 40,000 above the A rank, no matter what the internet tells you. Kind of really makes me worry about the authenticity of my A rank things on the loading screens. Especially with how similar some levels seem to be with the scores. There's a lot that seem to match with zone, and I wonder if that's actually true. I mean, Sonic Heroes does generally do a better job of just rounding them to the nearest 10,000 or 5,000. There do seem to be some exceptions, but that's generally how it seems to work. It's a bit different here, obviously, because these are timed. Right, there's enemies down there, but there's enemies up here. Or enemy. There's only one. Right, I'm going to fly over here. You don't need to worry if that entire thing does get destroyed, because you can still fly right over to it. I really should destroy the cannons before I fly over there, because these ones do have quite a bit of range. These things like to fall down at completely random times. Sometimes it's when you jump on them, sometimes you can be very far away. Sometimes it just seems to occur when they're on screen. I don't know what causes those ones to fall down. Those ones in particular. I hate when they're left with one bit of health, especially when it causes them to put their shields up at the same time. I don't know if that dash pad actually worked. I don't know why they always feel the need to go into this when you're in fly formation. Like, why can't they just fly? They're already hovering above the air. Like, why are they having such a hard time flying in there? Yes, got them before they landed. Use Team Blast on these guys whenever you can. Screw you, door. And you always automatically go into speed formation. I think I've mentioned that with every team so far. Bar Team Rose, obviously. Right, of course, we've got to watch out for the E2000 that's here. It may as well be a laser cannon. Only a more annoying one to hit. Oh, I've stunned him. I've stunned him, but Rouge isn't capitalizing on it. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna try and see when I get to the extra mission. I want to know if Team Chaotix actually comment on the weather, because I don't think I've ever heard them. Because their quote is that what they say about the explosion overall lasts longer than the other teams. So they've not usually finished by the time I get to that loop. So I am now curious. Woo! Right, there can also on occasions be enemies at the end of the rails as well, so you've got to watch out for that too. Particularly at the end of the level, they have quite a lot of them there. And that includes the beginning of the rails, before when we get to where there's like 4 laser cannons, the enemies can be at the beginning of the rails. That's particularly annoying. Right, wait for him to fire first. Now go. That laser looked like it was bobbing up and down. I thought it was firing again, then it was the hint ring. I mean, he's firing again now. I don't know why, I always like to look at the switches in the dark. Both when they're on and when they're off. I think that's like the only time the middle enemy is the one that doesn't have the shield. Now how is that cannon not destroyed by that? Right, again, this is another area where I think the enemies can be in the cannons. Yeah, it looked like it, because I definitely didn't see 4 enemies there. Let's go over here. We should get about 5 enemies. They all have spike shields as well. Thankfully, Omega's level 3 final hit takes care of the spike shields with no problems. Yeah, I saw that coming. I did see that coming. Alright, let's try this with Omega instead. Yeah, that was a lot easier. Of course, the fly formation solo attack is useless as well, as is this game's camera. Like, what is that? No, I do like the change they made, like when you're at a level... I think I missed an enemy, I can't remember if I hit it or not. But when you're at level... when there's only one of you, it's just the fly character, they do fly faster. Their ground control is the same, but when they're actually flying, they are much lighter. It throws you off easily though, like it always throws me off every time I start flying. Because the distance is the same, but they do it a lot faster. It's really annoying. Why can't I just glide? We've seen Rouge can do that. See, we're almost 100,000. Can we make it? Switch is trying to make sure, the target switch is trying to say no. How did that? Oh, I was going to say, why did that not activate? I was still in chaos control. There was a weird sound effect going on there. See, sometimes the tornado just does not work with actually taking out the shield. And sometimes the fire dunk likes to go and attack the wrong enemies. Well, that was thunder shoots, which means that against an enemy with a spike shield, it's pretty useless. Unless it's a stone shield, they're all useless. It's annoying when you have these guys because they don't always do the attack you want them to. They might just do the but they actually just slam their hammer into the ground. There we go. I like it when that actually works. Yay, we're at 100,000. It's also possible to do in power plants. I don't think it's possible in any other levels. Even Team Sonic Super Hard Mode. I don't even think in Final Fortress it's possible. I'm not sure. But for Team Dark, you can do it here, and you can do it in Power Plant. Wow, they really liked Rouge. What are the power cores? That's my question. Like, what exactly are they? Why do they only work for a specific character? They skipped the line here. It's like, impressive engineering feat, I must admit. I forget what Rouge said. Like, that thing isn't enough to stop me. I'll destroy it with my bare hands. Yeah, this is where they like to put the enemies at the end of the rails. Well, let's see if I can beat 10 minutes. This is a record for me. See if I can beat 10 minutes. I hate it when the lasers don't load their graphics. We're going to be to the end of this rail. Yay! There we go. Team Dark is over. Now the easy missions. The complete opposite of these. I think that's the first time I've ever beaten 10 minutes. Unfortunately, thanks to my deaths in Egg Fleet, this is still going to be a long video. So I'm almost 30 minutes in. Oh well, I'm going to leave the deaths in for Egg Fleet, because it's not like I really didn't make any major progress. It doesn't take long to get back to them, but anyway, that's it. That's Team Dark done. So we can finally move on to the short ones, the easy ones, the ones that give you lives. Not Team Dark. The GameCube controller's D-pad is way too small. Next up, it's Team Rose's extra missions, where our simple objective is to collect 200 rings. Well, that sounds familiar. Oh, we aren't there yet. Anyway, so I will see you guys then.